There was a time, believe it or not, I was told by someone today.
And here's the game right here, Larry.
Yeah, we're seeing a junior middleweight face-off here. It's an in-your-face face-off.
Well, I don't know who's going to win this one. This one is a draw.
Yeah, the crowd loves this.
I would laugh. You see, that's why I'm not there. You saw that scar on the side of Wilfred Benitez's face. That was put there when he stole a guava when he was a kid, and his father Goyo caught him, ran after him, and he ran into a barbed wire fence. A little bit of history on Wilfred Benitez.
You know, at one time he was 14 pounds over the weight he had to be for a fight. 5 days before the fight, made the weight and won the fight.
Also, he started.
Puerto Rico y la tuna de San Juan.
Let's see how these two fighters came into this fight, and they're very comparable. Of course, the height advantage to Tommy Hearns. Weight 1.5 pounds to Hearns. The big reach of Tommy Hearns, and whether or not that will be a factor will come into play as the fight goes on. That could be the biggest difference in the two, but Benitez, a very crafty professional, and Tommy Hearns, of course, with just the one loss to Sugar Ray Leonard to mark a perfect record.
And remember what I said earlier before the last fight, Barry and Ray, that a fighter seldom brings his punch with him as he moves up in weight. This is a test for Tommy Hearns to see if he can put some hurt on Benitez, who is a more resourceful, clever boxer.
Carlos Palomino had made the observation that he felt Benitez was actually a better puncher at this weight and really has brought his punch with him. School is still out, I think, on Tommy Hearns.
You know, when we think of outstanding champions like Roberto Duran and Emil Griffith, who were overpowering in their original divisions, but when they moved up a division, they were still good enough to be champions, but they were no longer overpowering. The only one I can think of who did that was Ray Robinson, and that's an ultimate test for these two fighters here.
Tommy Hearns being introduced by Jimmy Leonard, and now the champion.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, folder on my left, black trunks with a white band from Ponce, Puerto Rico, formerly of the Bronx, and fighting out of the Bronx in New York. A trim and even 152 pounds, winning 43 out of 45 great bouts. 3 times a world champion, now defending his title as a World Boxing Council super welterweight champion of the world. Introduciendo Wilfred Dragon Benitez. Your referee to now give instructions from Mexico.
In favor of Tommy Hearns.
Judging at ringside from New York.
Octavio Medan will be the referee in this fight. Veteran referee. Sight game is pretty much over now, and what is left is getting here.
Interesting, both fighters had a face-to-face off. Both fighters had their own group singing the national anthem, like warriors ready to go to battle.
Well, the intensity is here, and the fact that you saw that there is mutual respect between both fighters.
And the games, you could see, had ended before they ever got to the center of the ring here.
Well, we should mention here that Benitez's past is to use early rounds to size up his opponent.
Underway, round 1. Super welterweight championship. Tommy Hearns on the right in the white trunks. Wilfred Benitez, black trunks, white stripe on the left of your screen right now. Both men on their toes. The feeling out process has begun.
Well, Tommy's going straight at Benitez, and again, the left jab of Tommy will be the most effective punch, especially in the early rounds, because it was very difficult for me to land some solid blows to Benitez. But we're talking about a totally different story here. Tommy is bigger than I am, and his arms, his reach is incredible. So that may be a factor here.
And he does hurt. I think you said that, made that point abundantly clear.
He can't afford to tighten up, and Benitez, you know, he's able to frustrate a fighter, and make mistakes and capitalize on them.
A lot of bobbing and weaving and feinting right now. Benitez slipping those punches, very characteristic. Hearns misses the right hand.
Benitez has what I consider a radar. I think what it's going to take for Tommy is the jabs and some feints. He has a feiner.
Well, in fact, he came in with the word super radar on his robe.
Well, that was good. I saw that Tommy went to the body with that right hand. That's good too because you can't move the body. Tommy's left jab must be consistent. He has to keep it out there, keep it busy, keep Benitez thinking.
I talked to Benitez yesterday. He was saying that no more fooling around. He trains hard for every fight, trained hard for this fight. He knows it's business now.
The major problem is fighting a guy like Tommy, as tall as Tommy is the fact getting inside. What I did, and Benitez is pretty much doing the same thing I did. I moved the first few rounds and got to a point where it's that I got Tommy in close, and I was able to get in close, whereas that I was able to deliver some punches. But it's difficult, I tell you, Barry. It's really, I was in there. It's tough getting inside with Tommy.
Benitez very patient, really no damage here in the first round, inside a minute. Either man has scored with a punch. Benitez has thrown very few. Talking about Benitez's ability to slip punches, I remember Floyd Patterson used to say that he watches the man's chest muscles to see where the punches are coming from. Allows him to almost anticipate before the punch comes.
See that right hand there, twice thrown by Tommy. Benitez is able to just get out of the way of it. Slip punches, very, very smooth. What Tommy can't fall into, he can't fall into waiting too long.
I want to make a couple of points about that round. Benitez did not land a single punch. I think that was a very good round for Tommy Hearns, because he went to the body. You can't headhunt with Benitez. He's just too quick. Let's go to Benitez's corner.
Pomada, Gregory, pomada, papo, pomada. Bueno, Gregory, ese es mío. Toma.
Esa pomada está muy dura, ¿sabes?
Ahí bien, está buena, por eso que está buena.
Dame. Toma pomada.
Quieto, Wilfred, tranquilito,
No te pongas a perseguirlo, si cuando él se gaste 3 rounds, sigue moviendo, ya estoy aquí.
Basically, don't change nothing that you're doing. Just keep looking just the way. All right, we're now in Tommy Hearns' corner. And Emmanuel Stewart's last words were, keep up the way you're going.
Yeah, as I was about to say, Larry, Tommy was doing the right thing. He went to the body, but the head is very difficult to hit.
And the other point that Larry Merchant made, that Wilfred Benitez did not land a punch in that round, and that is the only way you're going to win fights, is to score with punches, needless to say.
But first, Benitez has to find a way, a method of getting closer to Tommy without being hit by Tommy.
Rarely changes expression in the ring. Fight has been fought at long range. That was a left hand by Benitez. Benitez content to stay in the corner. You can see him just with that pattern of moving the head very quickly, and he rarely gets hurt.
What Benitez is really watching, he's not watching the left jab, he's watching the right hand. He's watching the power. He can take a few left jabs, but he doesn't want to get hit by Tommy's power hand, the right hand. You know, so you let Tommy parry out a couple of times.
That was a good right hand by Hearns.
He was took the big punch. He was took a big punch.
It was an overhand right. And Hearns catches him again. Actually caught him twice, but did not that time. And the other one went by his back.
Benitez is catching his right hands now on the arm. I feel what Benitez is trying to do, Barry, is he's trying to really make Tommy frustrated, make Tommy mad, make Tommy load up with his punches. You can't load up. The left jab leads up to your punches, your combination. So you have to take your time. You can't afford to get mad.
It takes a lot of patience to fight a guy like Tommy Hearns, I would think.
It takes a great deal. In fact, Benitez landed with an overhand right. It wasn't really that hard, but again, Benitez is trying to find out the best method and most effective method of getting to Tommy Hearns.
Benitez, should be pointed out, has been knocked down on numerous occasions, but again, that was back in the days when he really didn't take this whole thing very seriously and felt he could just walk into the ring and whip anybody. He got away with one with Bruce Curry after being knocked down 3 times. Harold Weston knocked him down. There's a good right hand by Hearns, but he can't double up on it. Almost every one of those missed except the first one.
That was a good right hand.
He got Benitez bouncing off the ropes and caught him, but not a lot of those are scoring. Not a lot scored as I saw it.
Well, there were 3 or 4, and that's a lot when you consider that Benitez hardly landed anything worthwhile in that round again, and we may see a fighter being intimidated.
Get away from everything.
We're going to take a look at that exchange again as Hearns tries to measure Benitez. Benitez normally likes to fight on the ropes and punch off the ropes, but in this case, he's just being kept too busy, and if half the punches are landing, that's all that's necessary. Daniel Stewart has very little to say to Hearns because Hearns is fighting practically a perfect fight right now.
3rd round. Super welterweight championship. Wilfred Benitez, Tommy Hearns.
You know, Benitez is such a proud champion. He really gets upset. He considers it an insult when the opponent gets the best of him. He picks the pace up. If he gets caught with a good shot, he gets stronger and more aggressive. So you might see a change in Benitez this round.
Hearns has done the only damage in the fight, and in that exchange that you saw in the replay, really only 2 punches plus one that was a little bit low landed. One was a good one.
One thing that's unusual about a guy like Tommy Hearns' size is the fact this man can throw so many punches. You know, it's unbelievable. Normally a guy that tall, his hand speed, you know, it's always not that quick. But Tommy can throw so many punches so fast.
Tommy is doing a lot of the painting that you expect Wilfred Benitez to do. There's almost a mirror image here.
You know, Benitez, his stance, it seems as though he wants to throw a right hand. When I fought Benitez, the same wide stance, it looks as though he's attempting to throw a right hand. So I was always prepared for that.
Benitez can't switch hands. He will do it from time to time, but he considers himself a natural right-hander. Counter punch by Hearns.
See, this is the difference here. Benitez is a great counterpuncher, but for a guy with Tommy's height and reach advantage, it's a different story altogether because he's able to land, Benitez land, and he pulls back. Tommy's arms are so long, he can hit you on the way out, or way back.
Hearns getting inside for just a moment, peppering Benitez with a jab.
Now that's a good punch, Barry. The punch that Benitez tried attempted to land, that upward jab. He goes down like a little crouch and comes up with that left jab. Not straight, but in the angle, upward.
Benitez lunging at him, caught him, I think, with the arm more than with the hand that time. Benitez a combination. End of the round.
As Ray indicated by the stance of Benitez in that round, it has seemed to me, even from the first round, that Benitez was looking to throw a big right hand over the jab of Hearns. But as you say, Hearns has been in and out of there so quick with his long reach that he hasn't been able to reach him.
The plan is still working real good the way you're going. Everything's still behind the jab. The fight progress as a man's reflexes slow down. A lot of the shots is barely missing will start connecting. The main thing, you have control of the fight. And that's a very important factor right now because the fight is very close. It's just the idea who is controlling who. Okay? And saving everything for when your man makes his big move. So you have it right there to make you move back with him, okay? Everything is perfect.
I thought that Emmanuel Stewart make an excellent commentator as well as a trader in that case.
Same might be said for you, pal. That was echoing across Larry's thoughts between the last round. Fourth round. Hearns just trying to stay loose. He did that against you too, Ray.
Well, I think Benitez now is trying to get in some body shots. I'm quite sure he's going to try to throw some. But Tommy, he surprised me again. He can box. The guy really can box. Lateral movement, and he utilized the ring very well. And see, the problem that Benitez is having, the fact of getting close enough to him, because it's really hard to hit Tommy.
Of course, a big money fight somewhere down the road, very likely for the winner of this fight. Marvin Hagler awaits somebody. Both men would like to have him. That was Benitez. No damage.
Well, I think both these young men are looking for bigger paydays, even with marvelous Marvin Hagler. In fact, having an impressive showing here, especially by a knockout. I mean, without question, Hagler will probably be next. And each guy's trying to find a big punch to land on each other. I think Tommy, the straight right hand, and Benitez, probably a looping right hand, the one I threw on.
We look for a tactical fight. It is a tactical fight. A little scraping under the left eye, it looks like, of Wilfred Benitez.
Those are the type of left jabs thrown by Tommy is what I was talking about. He has to be very consistent with that left jab. Keep him busy. Keep Benitez thinking. He has to use that left jab more often.
Hearns getting the better of it early on here. There's a little marking under the left eye of Benitez. It is nothing to worry about at this juncture.
I have a feeling, Larry, that Tommy is going to eventually measure up to Benitez and catch him with a good punch.
Well, so far, Hearns is getting off quicker and getting out quicker.
What's going to be the turning point in this fight is the fact that when Tommy is able to land a clean right hand and Benitez is still there, Benitez won't respect Tommy as much. I think there's still a lot of respect that Benitez holds for Tommy Hearns' punching power.
And Tommy Hearns is being given a 1-point penalty for hooking the back of the head. Holding, actually.
That being the case, that was Benitez's best round. We're going to take a look here and to show you how Benitez is such a master boxer in making his opponent miss, Larry.
Well, Tommy is still a little tight. He haven't really loosened up. He started to loosen up in that round, but he's got to loosen up a little bit more.
One thing I've noticed, Larry, it seemed to me that while everyone was expecting Benitez to frustrate Hearns by making him miss, and it appears to me that Benitez is now getting a little frustrated and being more offensive than he likes to be.
Yes, but Benitez is starting to come forward, and Tommy is starting to back up a little bit, and that's going to make a difference in this fight.
This is the 5th round. Hearns on the right, Benitez on the left. Octavio Moran taking 1 point away from Tommy Hearns for holding and hitting.
Well, that deduction of that 1 point, I think you're going to see a couple more points deducted because, see, it's not because it's Tommy Hearns' fault. It's just the way that Benitez fights. He gets inside, he feints you and everything. He comes in with his head down. And Tommy, being as tall as he is, quite naturally, is going to put his arm on his man's head to stop any headbutts.
Hearns going to the body early on here in this round.
Benitez moving, and he's using the ring, and he won't let Tommy set.
Up on his toes more than I've seen Wilfred Benitez.
Again, I think it's going to take one big punch thrown by Tommy, and for Benitez to say, well, okay, I can take this guy's best shot, because that's what I was thinking about. I knew Tommy could punch, and I messed around to see how hard he could punch, and he hit with a good shot. And from then on, I say this guy can't really hurt me that much.
Well, you heard Emanuel Stewart between the 3rd and 4th round saying everything off the jab, everything off the jab, and Hearns has been pretty effective with the jab so far. Got a left hand right there behind the left jab. Benitez getting inside for just a moment on Hearns.
What's happened, Benitez is starting to mesmerize Tommy. You know, the way he's doing all those feints, and Tommy's waiting. This is a mistake. You can't wait for a guy like Benitez. He makes you fall asleep.
Hearns got the better of that exchange as Benitez tried to get inside, and Hearns tagged him on the head a couple of times with the left hand.
Benitez gives you all those body feints with the hands, with the head, and then all of a sudden he comes across with his right hand, left hook, anything. Any particular punch he's able to throw. Like he attempted to throw that right hand there, which missed Tommy. Now, a right hand.
There's the right hand, and that knocks Benitez back. They're going to call it a knockdown. Benitez doesn't like it. No question Benitez was hurt. It came off the right hand by Hearns.
Now, that right hand there, I was waiting for it to see now. We'll see a reaction of Benitez, whether or not he feels Tommy can hurt him or what.
Now, that was a combination of the fact that he was hurt and he slipped a little bit. His legs are still not very solid.
It was a good, clean right hand by Tommy.
Benitez seems to have his legs back under him now, and Hearns will pace himself. End of round 5.
Okay, we're going to take a look at that knockdown here immediately. There's a right hand, right smack on the jaw. And it was more punch than slip. And let's take a look at it from another angle. A quick right hand that seemed to graze him, but was a pretty good punch nonetheless. I think what we saw there, remember we heard Emanuel Stewart say earlier he's going to make his move. And from what I've said before, Benitez is starting to be more offensive because he's frustrated. And so suddenly, because of that, Benitez was in the range of Hearns. Benitez knows he must make a positive move to get to Hearns, and he's in Hearns' range now, where earlier he was not.
This is the 6th round. Tommy Hearns has been in control of this fight. Benitez pacing up early here in the 6th round. Takes 2 shots from Hearns.
Benitez is somewhat reluctant to come inside on Tommy because Tommy he's able to get off so many punches, whether it's left hook or right hand. I think Benitez feels safer against the ropes because, I mean, that's his fight.
Well, he fought much of his fight with Roberto Duran with his back to the ropes very effectively. Here, Hearns is being very patient. Good shot by Hearns once more, and the legs once more on Benitez. Buckle under him a bit.
Well, this is what Benitez has to do. He has to fight Tommy. I mean, he can't just stand back because Tommy's arms are so long. So Benitez has to fight, street fight him.
Benitez getting Hearns against the ropes here, but not doing a lot of damage. Leaning on him right now. And Octavio Meron.
You notice that Tommy clinched, and then people criticize Tommy for not clinching me. You learn every fight.
That was a good shot. Good uppercut by Hearns. Benitez trying to weather this one, taking a few shots, takes the right hand and another left. And takes another straight left and holds on.
Benitez is a little dazed, although he still has his senses together. And see, Tommy can't punch himself out. Should take his time and not fall into Benitez's trap. Benitez wants Tommy to keep punch himself out. But now Benitez appears to me, Barry, a little tired himself. And he has not gone nowhere near the punches Tommy has thrown.
This is the 6th round. Hearns has dictated the fight right from the opening bell.
Again, the right hand that is set up, seems to be setting up, and he threw it. Benitez just threw the right hand that I felt he was trying to set Tommy up for. The lead off right. Now this is when Benitez should become very aggressive because Tommy threw a lot of punches earlier in that round. This round, rather.
That was a right hand by Hearns and a right hand by Benitez off the right hand by Hearns. And there's the right hand that buckles Benitez. And Benitez is against the ropes and in trouble. Hearns after him at the bell. Smashing right hand.
Benitez just stumbled back to his corner. He's really hurt.
There we see Benitez in a zone that he hasn't been in much before. Now we're back with Tommy Hearns, and the important thing, the crucial thing in this fight is that the offensive fighter is making the defensive fighter fight in a way he doesn't like to. Here we come. There it is, the punch that buckled Benitez earlier in the round before that final crunching right hand on the ropes. Let's take another look at it from another angle.
You can see the leverage Tommy got from that right hand.
Ray, he seems to have been able to measure Benitez and catch Benitez with more big punches than we usually see Benitez catching.
And because of Tommy's reach and Tommy's speed, I think that's the factor there.
The other thing, Ray, is he just seems to really be right on balance with his punches.
I mean, everything. Tommy has learned a great deal. And experience is always a factor. And here, Benitez is trying to use his experience, but maybe Tommy's just too big, too fast, and just too much for Benitez. But the fight is still not over. You never can tell what's going to happen.
Well, Benitez has been in that place before. He staggered back to his corner against Harold Weston after being knocked down and came back and won the fight.
Well, again, we had the same thing we talked about with Pinto and Gomez. Can Tommy carry that much weight? Is he stronger at 154 pounds? And I feel he is. I think he can carry 160 pounds. He has his body can carry that kind of weight and be comfortable with.
Hearns being very patient here. This is the 7th round. 2 minutes remaining. Tommy's staying at long range now, on his toes, cutting the ring off against Benitez, fighting a very smart fight.
Now Tommy's moving so much that Benitez can't set up. If I was Benitez, you know, at this point now, he has to become more aggressive now. It's difficult to win a fight against Tommy Hearns moving backwards. He has to get inside, work Tommy's body, see how Tommy likes it there. But from the outside, Tommy's just too quick and too tall for Benitez.
There's a right hand by Benitez. Hearns kind of grins back at him.
you know, Tommy has a tendency to smile when he's hurt. And he smiled at me, and I know he's in trouble. He may be in trouble now, but I doubt it very seriously. Only Tommy knows for sure.
Doubling up with the left hand is Hearns. Inside the 30-second mark.
That right hand was a good right hand, man.
And another right hand by Benitez.
You're starting to see a different Benitez now.
10 seconds.
Hearns doubling up with the left hand again, but that was one of Benitez's better rounds.
I thought it was his best round, but I called it an even round. He's trying to solve
Be ready to shield
his
the right
taller
hand.
opponent.
You're giving
Let's
the man
listen
too
to
much room,
Emmanuel
okay?
Stewart.
You got to start tightening up the gap. You give too much time waiting on him now. You got to pick him. You're letting him get himself together, okay? Keep your left hand up where you can start shielding the right hand. That's the only thing you got to look out for. But so far, his left hook and his jab is not working. And keeping plenty of pressure on him. He eased up on him too much, you know. You got to ease up. You got to get his confidence, get his rhythm up. And start cracking them right hands to the body. Whether they land down here don't matter. Just keep hitting them down here, hitting them down here. Then it'll come right across the shoulder, okay? Start shooting them down into his body. So you've got so many opportunities. This fight could be over with this round if you come out and open up on him. Man is ready to go. Ready. Give him a piece.
And there's Wilfred Benitez. You wonder when he's going to abandon his basically defensive attitude and decide that it isn't working and that he must become offensive if he wants to retain his title.
And Emmanuel Stewart saying keep the pressure on. You let him off a little bit too much in that last round. He started to get his confidence, and he also said, as you heard, that his jab has been ineffectual so far.
Because he has not been using that much. And the fact that, like I stated earlier, if Tommy can't hit the head, he needs to go to the body. Carry it down there a couple of times. Benitez has to be more offensive. He has to go to work now.
Hearns getting that jab into the face of Wilfred Benitez.
Benitez tried to make his his opponent fall asleep. And this is
Good
what he's
right
trying to do
hand
with
again.
Tommy. He's trying to do this with Tommy, bro. He gets inside, he feints and everything, and then all of a sudden, you find yourself falling asleep.
Well, I really am impressed with what looks to me to be Hearns' maturity here. I thought he fought a very mature fight against you too, but he just seems to have grown up as a fighter.
Well, Tommy's going to get better and better. I mean, he's at that stage now. He's going to grow with his career.
There's the left hand. Held back the right, takes a couple from Benitez.
This is what Benitez has to do. Get inside with Tommy. Make him exchange punches.
Left hand counter punch, but he took one to give one.
You know, both fighters are making each other think because they're starting to land now with some pretty good punches. A looping right hand, if thrown by Benitez, Tommy would never see it. Because so far Benitez has been down, he gets inside and he works the body, then he comes to the head. But if he start off with the looping right hand, I don't think Tommy will be able to see that.
That was an effective punch for you in that fight too, of course.
Very effective. But see, Tommy's being effective now by the left jab.
There's a right hand to the ribs and a left hand, which was a little bit short. By Benitez scores, but once again, it scores not really flush because it's getting Hearns while he's on his bicycle.
So it's taking away the force from the punch.
Let's take a look at Wilfred Benitez. Larry Holmes, what does Benitez have to do to pull this fight out?
I think he's doing the right thing now. He's starting to counter Tommy's left jab, and Tommy's starting to fatigue a little bit. His corner's not putting the ice pack on his neck. They're putting it on the neck, but they're not really putting water on him to cool him off.
There was almost the best combination of Wilfred Benitez fight, right to the body, a left that missed.
Tommy's still got to come on and use that jab. He got to get a little bit more energy.
There's been a question about the stamina of Hearns, and do you think that that's the thing that can hold him back now from winning?
Yes, it is. It's the thing that will hold him back if he don't get it together.
We come to the 9th round.
Hey, both of you liars, eggs. Tommy has stamina. Believe me, a great deal. A little bit too much.
Combination there by Benitez.
I like those punches thrown by Benitez because now he's starting to work the body. He's going to the body a lot more with some pretty good shots.
Benitez seemingly measuring Hearns a little bit better than before. Took a left hand.
Tommy wants him to send him to the ring. He doesn't want him against the ropes.
It's a lunging right hand by Benitez. Benitez has gone to that right hand lead a couple of times in the last 2 rounds.
You know, in training, Tommy, I thought he was working on keeping his hands up, the left hand up higher. But, you know, as the rounds go by, each round, it goes lower and lower. And I wouldn't be surprised if it went back down to his leg like he normally keeps it.
Didn't you say that you get more power from your left hand being in that position?
I get a lot of more power. I get more leverage because I bring it up. It's like a snap. It's more snap. It almost seemed obvious that Benitez is going to throw a lead-off fight again. By his stance and the way it's like he's waiting. He's waiting for an opportunity, but Tommy won't give him that opportunity. That is something you can't do against Tommy. You can't reach, you can't telegraph your punches.
Inside the 1 minute mark, round 9.
The best thing Benitez can do, and he do it in spurts, is feint. Feint, get inside, and then work. Because you know, every time Benitez give Tommy a head or arm feint, Tommy throw a punch, he'll attempt. You see him shake. Mistake that Benitez can't make is go straight into Tommy.
Benitez took one and gave one again, and Hearns is knocked back with a left hand. They say it was a punch, not a knockdown. Hearns is saying, no, I think it was a punch. It was a left hand from Benitez. It might have been set up by a counter-punching right. End of round 9. I'm curious to see this myself.
It appeared to me, Barry and Ray, that was a part punch and part off-balance push. But nevertheless, it's been scored a knockdown. And that could have a very positive effect on Benitez. Yeah, it didn't look like a really good punch at all. It hit Hearns high on the head and just sort of tilted him over. Let's go to Hearns' corner now.
Yeah, let's jump up. You gotta get him try to take control of it.
This is the 10th round. 2 similar knockdowns, one by each man. Kind of half punch, half push. Hearns was not hurt by that, no more than Benitez was when he got knocked out.
You know, Benitez gets hit by the left hook of Tommy every time he comes in, and then he puts his hands up later on.
There was a good right hand by Benitez, and Hearns did not flinch, gets out of there. Solid right hand. Benitez continuing to counterpunch. Right hand lead by Benitez. And that was the better exchange by Hearns. A right hand by Hearns was the best punch of that exchange. And Benitez comes back, and now he takes the right hand from Hearns. A lot of damage in this round on both parts. Combination by Hearns.
Benitez seems to get hurt.
Swelling alongside the left eye of Wilfred Benitez.
They both landed big shots, but I think Tommy punches a little cleaner, a little more devastating.
Hearns took a couple of good shots and gave back a couple of more. Hearns saying, come on, come to me. Benitez saying, you come here. And Hearns wants things his way. Benitez wants things his way. That swelling is really alongside the eye, back of the cheek, actually, of Wilfred Benitez. Hearns got the better of that also. Hearns trying to measure Benitez and missed with the right hand at the bell.
That vicious exchange is perhaps the busiest exchange I've ever seen Wilfred Benitez in, which speaks both to the condition of the fight and the fact that he is a champion who's trying to come back. Let's see what happened in that exchange. There was a good left hand behind, but Hearns came back with a strong right hand right on the button to retake the initiative. But here comes Benitez right straight back, looking for some place to land. Good body shot by Benitez that slipped in there between the long arms of Tommy Hearns. The situation is getting desperate for Benitez, and Benitez is trying to come up to that situation and give the right answer.
This is the 11th round. Benitez trying to pick up the pace here. Still look fresh. Neither man really looks particularly tired. There's a right hand by Benitez. That was a pretty good shot. And he takes the right hand. Says, no, I'm not hurt. But he took a good shot from Hearns. Hearns gets the better of it on the ropes almost invariably.
It was Hearns that gets better leverage. mainly because of his height advantage. And Benitez, once Benitez gets inside, because he does get position, but all of a sudden he doesn't find room not to throw some big shots. And you'll see, Benitez will work his way in, he gets there, and all of a sudden he said, well, this wall is bigger than I thought it was.
There was a butt. Neither man is damaged, but you saw Tommy Hearns call the attention of Octavio Moran.
Tommy Hearns has looked very impressive. I mean, he's fighting a true champion here in Benitez.
He's fighting a very smart fight, too.
You know, it's funny, though. I'm sitting on the outside, and it seems like the rounds are going by so fast. But in that ring, the rounds seem as though they take hours before they pass, especially on the losing end.
It's much easier for Larry Merck and I out here, I'll tell you. We are undefeated out here, and we could fight every couple of weeks.
Well, I prefer to dress this way.
Right hand was a little short by Hearns at the bell.
Larry Holmes, I don't see Tommy Hearns letting up at all and giving Benitez any chance to seize the initiative.
But Tommy's doing what he has to do to win. He got that jab working, he got that quick right hand, and he also counters. Benitez don't know what to do. He's kind of confused.
Let's listen to Emmanuel Stewart and Tommy Hearns.
You got a grand on him, man. That's what you're doing. Oh. What round is coming up?
Number 12.
Okay,
Keep biting me, bro.
I don't mind you getting him in the ropes over there. Let's keep him in the ropes. You're doing good in the ropes. You got a grand on us, man.
Okay, baby. Keep your hands up now. Be sure you keep them up.
Boy, I'll tell you, if your attacks get close together, you're shooting them, but you get too much time in between you. Let's try to knock
Interesting byplay there where Emmanuel Stewart is now saying to Tommy Hearns, it's okay if he wants to be back on the ropes. We don't have to be afraid of him there anymore.
Thus indicating that he feels Tommy Hearns has things in hand. This is the 12th.
Tommy just winked at me just before the round started, I guess just to reassure me that everything is under complete control.
Well, it looks that way right now. One thing that does impress me is that the corner of Tommy Hearns is very calm, and it's always been my experience that the corner that is more collected, more calm, is the most effective.
Well, that is must. I mean, Tommy Hearns' corner is very professional. I mean, Emmanuel Stewart, he knows the business. He knows exactly what he's talking about.
Blood from the nose of Wilfred Benitez now. And also a little bit of a cut, I believe, on the bridge of the nose. That's a long side, the left eye, and that could cause Benitez some problems. Benitez's corner and his father, Gregorio, urging him onward. But Benitez can't seem to double up against the very effective Tommy Hearns tonight.
You see, Tommy Hearns can let that right hand go at any given moment. And that's what Benitez has to be very careful of. When he's coming in, although he's doing the right thing by feinting, he's still vulnerable for that straight right hand because he's coming straight at Tommy.
Well, I really didn't think I would see anybody be able to dictate the tempo of the fight against somebody like Wilfred Benitez, and yet I think Tommy Hearns has done that so far, Ray.
Well, again, you know, Tommy Hearns, he extends that left hand. He's got to knock it down. Knock it out of the way. It's not supposed to be there anyway, so knock it down. Benitez is picking the pace up, but he's walking in.
Took a good shot. That was a good left hand from Hearns. face is starting to show the beating it has taken from both the left and right hand of Tommy Hearns. I know you can relate to that.
Yes, in fact, they've always criticized Tommy for not having stamina. Once he fought me, that proved he has stamina. But recently, Tommy has not been going the distance, and still, here's the 12th round. He looks very fresh. Tommy's doing the right thing, keeping Benitez at the end of that left jab.
Inside of 10 seconds, round 12.
He can do this for 40 rounds, Barry.
He looks very strong. He's been on his toes at the right time, worked the ring very well, fighting a very smart fight.
Let's take a look at the champion, Wilfred Benitez, a man whose crown right now appears to be toppling. You can almost see it falling down around his eyes at this moment. One of the reasons that Benitez isn't effective, Ray, as he goes after Hearns, is that he's practically never had to do it during his career. He's not comfortable throwing more than a one punch or a punch and a half as he moves forward, and then his initiative seems to peter out.
And also, Larry, the fact that Benitez always had trouble with posture. With me, when I was able to move and utilize the ring, it frustrated him in a sense.
Three more rounds, and Tommy Hearns will have come all the way back from that defeat by Ray Leonard.
This is the 13th, and Wilfred Benitez is simply running out of time and running after Tommy Hearns.
Again, Benitez is running in with that head. Very dangerous against a man like Tommy Hearns because of that right hand Tommy has.
Each man has been knocked down once, each a questionable knockdown.
So Benitez, he's close that left jab out to get close to Tommy. And quite naturally, the jab is to get you closer, but you can't float it out there. You have to stick it out with authority.
Once again, Benitez gets the one punch in but cannot double up. The left hand caught the glove of Tommy Hearns. Using that jab, keeping his man off him, using the ring. And draws a warning for butting.
Benitez now just can't get close enough because Tommy is. He moves back when Benitez tries to get in. And he just can't get in position to do any serious damage to Tommy Hearns. It's very frustrating for a fighter, especially for Benitez at this point here. I guess he feels he's behind, especially by points, and he wants to pour it on. Because this time won't give him the opportunity.
Trying to press Hearns, and he just can't get close enough. The right hand that did land on the top of the head of Tommy Hearns, thrown by Wilfred Benitez. End of the 13th round.
Ray mentioned that Benitez was trying to pour it on. It's like pouring water on a fire that just won't go out. Let's take a look at both fighters here. You wonder what's going on inside this
Right hand goal.
really outstanding champion's head. Once again, we come late into a fight. Frequently, a real champion will pull out everything to try to win and leave himself exposed and perhaps get stopped. We're at that 14th round where something frequently happens.
Be alert out there.
This is the 14th. Tommy Hearns, it would appear, for all intent, would need only to stay on his 2 feet to win the Super Welterweight Championship. He aspires to 4 championships.
Well, I talked about strategy earlier, Barry, and Tommy has found the right, tactics of approaching this fight. Boxing, using that jab, consistently keeping his man off balance. And when he get inside, put his punches together. And here we are in the 14th round. There are no signs whatsoever of fatigue. Both fighters are in great shape. And they both approach this fight with, positive, very positive.
Well, we look for a tactical fight, and it has been just that, except that it is Tommy Hearns' tactics who have dominated the fight. Benitez just kind of lunging at Hearns, and Hearns just getting out of there when he does. A left hand by Benitez. That was a slip. I don't believe Hearns is hurt. Benitez hits him with a combination, 15 seconds remaining. Benitez's corner urging him on here, thinking that perhaps Hearns is hurt. I don't believe he is. We will have 3 minutes of fighting left.
Ray, what I'm struck by here is this. In a fight between a powerful positive force in the ring like Tommy Hearns and a powerful, what I've called negative force like Benitez, the positive force usually comes out on top.
That's true, but what we have here is 2 magnets turned the opposite way. And Tommy seems to be more positive now and more assured of what he's going to do and what he's about to complete in this next round.
Put it out, Tommy. Okay, please hold this up. Showboat, okay? Another class break.
Well, Tommy Hearns, true enough, has never fought 15 rounds. He has fought almost 14.
Keep it right up. Let's show it to him. Come on, baby. Let's go all out. Tommy.
Larry, just for the record, how do you have it at this point? I assume Benitez would have to knock him out.
I think he needs a double knockout to win.
I couldn't hear correctly in Tommy's corner. I don't know whether or not they told him, don't showboat or showboat.
Has to get him down for a count of 20.
And even then it'll be close.
Well, Benitez just named a good right hand against Tommy.
So Benitez's work is cut out. He knows he's got to go get it. And he's got about 2.5 minutes to do that. Did get a right hand in. And he took a left hand, a straight left jab by Hearns. Benitez tried to press him.
That right hand we saw Benitez that he threw against Maurice Hope to gain that title. I haven't seen the same attempt to throw it yet.
That was one of those 1 in a million punches.
It's such a surprising punch too, bro. I mean, because you really can't see it coming. It's a looping right hand.
There's a right hand, but Hearns does not take a backward step.
Benitez doesn't seem to have snap on his punch. He throws his right hand and he puts his other hand along with it.
Minute and a half remaining in this fight. Benitez against the ropes, got the left hand to the chest, missed the right hand. And Hearns keeps the jab in the face and keeps Benitez off of it.
Well, the way things look to me, Barry, Tommy has been in complete control, and he can just put another belt around his waist.
Fought a very intelligent fight, did Tommy Hearns. And barring some bizarre scoring, which we have seen before,
You might see Tommy Hearns shuffle, because when he feels good, he does a shuffle.
crowd is on its feet here, exhorting what they expect will be the new champion. Benitez down to 30 seconds.
As great of a technician Benitez is, he just couldn't find a way that was effective enough to get through Tommy Hearns' defense.
This one is just about history. Inside of 10. Benitez found Hearns with the right hand. Did not hurt him. And Hearns finishes with a flurry. That's it. It's all over. And a great fight it was. Excellent fight. Two good warriors. Two worthy champions. And a lot of respect being shown for one another in there, too.
I knew there was mutual respect between both fighters long before the fight even started. Tommy Hearns, I mean, he deserved, he had such an impressive showing against a great fighter, a great champion like Wilfred Benitez.
Yeah, that's the thing that really strikes me. Is it was an impressive showing, to be sure, but the fact that he did it against a fighter of Benitez's caliber is another story altogether.
I mean, that's what you have to look at, the fact of who he did it against. Benitez, a great fighter. But a lot of people don't know how great this man really is.
Well, I'm sure we have not by any means seen the last of Wilfred Benitez, nor by any means have we seen the last of Tommy Hearns. He had the big payday with you, and I think it's safe to say he can look forward to another one now.
I feel that Tommy Hearns at this stage now, because he has reestablished himself in boxing as far as now being called champion once again, you can look forward to bigger and brighter things for Thomas Hearns.
He just seems to be a much more mature fighter, even than when he fought you. He did fight a very good fight against you. But he still seemed to be, I mean, you took control of the fight in certain places. I think here from beginning to end, he was in control.
Well, you know, Barry, Tommy is growing, he's developing, and it's quite evident. He exemplified that he learns every fight.
Wilfred Benitez looking on right now and actually looking the part of a winner, posing for some of the cameras here. I would think it's an extreme long shot that he is the winner, but nonetheless, as we said, he will be heard from. He was the youngest man ever to win 3 titles, and he joined some pretty select company.
Benitez's his corner is so calm. I mean, I guess they feel he's won the fight.
Well, there was another time in a Benitez fight, as a matter of fact, that you and I sat at ringside and said this one is really lopsided. That was his fight with Duran, and it turned out not to be quite so lopsided. It was a unanimous decision, but it was a very close unanimous decision. So I've seen stranger things. Right now to the ring announcer, let's get the official decision from Jimmy Lennon. Jimmy?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a majority decision. Lou Filippo of California sees it 142 to 142, calling it even. He is overruled by Judge Dick Young, 146 to 136. Tony Castellano, 144 to 139, in favor of the winner by majority vote, the new super welterweight champion, Tommy Hitman Hearns.
Well, there you have the winner in Ray once again, a surprising count.
Well, I tell you, this was a tough fight to call, just like Aaron Pryor and Alex Abreu. And, hey, the man deserved it.
Larry Holmes, you tell me, how could you see that fight 142-142?
Well, I'm a fighter, and you know what they say about fighters. They don't know what they're talking about. So I stay on the outside and let the referees and the judges do the calling.
It's a lot easier out here, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So the winner by a majority decision is Tommy Hearns. And there again, I guess it'll really teach us to second guess. Both the other judges had it very lopsided in favor of Hearns.
Well, you never know what a judge is thinking.
So Tommy Hearns working his way toward Larry Merchant now. We'll have a word with the winner in just a minute, just as soon as Larry and Tommy and everybody else get organized. Hearns, needless to say, a very happy individual right now. He gets a hug from his opponent, Wilfred Benitez. Benitez proved himself a champion too, and right now let's go to Larry Merchant. Larry?
All right, we have Wilfred Benitez here with Tommy Hearns. Wilfred, how good of a fight did Tommy Hearns fight?
You know, what I can say is this. That I fought so nice since when I was over the gymnasium, but I don't care of that. If I came here to fight, I fought Tommy Hearns. But this is one, so what I can say.
Thank you very much, Wilfred.
Probably next time I will beat him. But for me, God bless you all time.
All right, Tommy.
Never go across the same road twice.
Tommy, I think the real question now is... The real question now is whether I can get this question in through all this chaos here. Tommy, is this a vindication finally after the Ray Leonard fight for all the stuff you've taken for these last 14 months?
Well, I have took a lot over the 14 months, but I knew that I would return. It was just a matter of time of getting back in there, getting the championship fight again. I knew that I would return back again with a title.
What was your plan for this fight, and how did your plan go?
My plan went over very well for me. That was my plan, to come into this fight and strictly box the man and work off the left hand. Everything worked according to plan until I started trying to use my right hand. I started using the right hand, and I think I sprung the right hand, so I wasn't using the right hand anymore. I began to go to my left jab.
It seemed that in the middle of the fight, he was frustrated, where people thought you would be the frustrated one.
No, I had complete confidence in myself. I knew what I wanted to do. It was just a matter of getting out there and taking care of business.
Are you a better fighter, a more mature fighter than you were